Hi mamas, I'm Victoria and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then welcome. Hi, I'm Victoria, and on my channel I discuss all things motherhood inspired by nature. So we talk a lot about herbs and herbal remedies and simple living, natural holistic health, my parenting in nature, all the good topics like that. So thank you so much for watching this video. So in this video today, we are going to be talking about horehound, or the botanical name is Marubium vulgare. I just recently started learning in depth about this herb, so I'm really excited to share what I've learned with you today. Just want to make a note that I am not a medical professional in any way, shape, or form. I am studying to be a clinical herbalist, and I'm just sharing what I'm learning with you while I'm on this journey of becoming a clinical herbalist. So please always be smart with any supplements or medication that you are about to take, including herbs or herbal medicine. And yeah, talk to your doctor before you do it. All right, so let's dive into this video. Okay, so horehound, Marubium vulgare, it is a member of the mint family. So in your garden, you will see that horehound usually grows about 1 to 2 feet tall. It typically grows in dry or sandy soil. So it typically has a square stem, and the leaves are opposite, oval, and crenately toothed, which means smooth toothed. The parts that you use of the fresh plant would be the dried leaves and the flowers. So the fine print of horehound is that its herbal actions are, it is an expectorant. It is a relaxing diaphoretic, it is a decongestant, an emmenagogue, and a stimulating bitter. I might have to get a little bouncy here because this little one is not happy right now. Okay, so some of the constituents of horehound include that it has bitter principles, it has caffeic acid, it has flavonoids, it has volatile oils, it has alkaloids, and vitamin C. So its flavonoids are what make it anti-inflammatory in action. Its T-tannins are what astringe and tonify the mucous membrane, and its volatile oils are what make it antimicrobial. Some safety tips are that we do want to avoid using horehound in pregnancy due to its emmenagogue effects. So it can bring on menstruation or blood, and we don't want to do that when you're pregnant. So definitely avoid use in pregnancy. And some sources that I researched did say that hypertension may occur with chronic use, so it's better to just use it for shorter periods of time and not years on end every day. So horehound is a bitter, pungent, and cooling herb. And it is also stimulating. The organs that it is affiliated with are your chest and lungs, and secondary affiliation with the liver. Okay, so now the fun stuff. What is horehound used for? I'm gonna tell you. So the main thing when I think of horehound, and maybe when you think of horehound as well, the main thing it's used for is for damp, unproductive coughs. So basically, horehound is a stimulant expectorant, which means when your lungs are filled with mucus, but you have a really dry, unproductive cough that goes with it, and so you aren't able to get any of that mucus out. I don't understand what you want. You don't want to be on my back? You don't want to go play? Okay, we're gonna try this way. So horehound is used for damp, unproductive coughs. That's one of its main things that it's really good at, is for damp, unproductive coughs. So basically, when your lungs are filled with mucus and discharge, but you have a dry, unproductive cough that goes with it, and maybe you're lethargic, your body is tired, you can't cough up this mucus, but you can tell that you have very damp lungs. That is where it's scary, because you can get secondary infection, right, with pneumonia. Don't want that. So horehound comes in, and because it is a stimulant expectorant, it basically can stimulate the tissue of the lungs, stimulate the mucous membranes into activity, and trigger your cough reflex to be able to help you have a productive cough and clear that mucus out of your lungs. A lot of sources that I read said that horehound can be really useful in conditions like bronchitis and whooping cough if there is an unproductive cough to go with it. Its expertise is in going in and helping to break up the discharge and mucus, and then triggering cough reflex in the lungs to be able for you to get that mucus out of your lungs. So horehound is excellent for damp coughs. The second condition that horehound can be used to help in is to help you sweat out a fever. So Horehound is a diaphoretic, and diaphoretics basically help to promote blood flow towards the surface of the skin. It's also important to note that sweating out a fever using a diuretic like Horehound is really only indicated in the beginning stages of a sickness. You don't want to do it when you're like a couple days or a week into the real throes of the sickness, because the fever is really important then. But the sources that I read said that you could use it at the very beginning of a sickness to help you sweat out a fever, and that you could even combine it with some other diaphoretic herbs like ginger or elderberry or yarrow. The third use that Horehound can have is that it can clear congestion. Obviously, we already talked about how it can clear congestion in your lungs, but Horehound also has an affinity for the upper and lower respiratory tract, so it can also help clear out congestion in the sinuses. Okay, another area where you could use Horehound is at the first sign of a cold, and this is particularly information that Dorothy Hall, who's a renowned herbalist in Australia, she talks about how when you first get that scratchy feeling in your throat, like you're about to get a cold and you feel it coming on, that is a good time to take a Horehound Oxymel or a Horehound syrup, because it's going to help coat your throat and not let mucus and congestion build up in your throat, and like they typically would do in a cold. So Dorothy Hall suggests taking Horehound at the first sign of a cold. Okay, and since Horehound also has a secondary affinity for the liver, many sources say that Horehound can be used for liver conditions like jaundice, that Horehound can be used to stimulate bile and get things going and moving along in the liver. It can also be used, it is a bitter, it can be taken as a bitter to help stimulate all the juices in your stomach and in your liver to help your food digest better. So yeah, that's another thing to know about Horehound. Okay, so now we're going to talk about dosing of Horehound. How exactly do you take it? Well, there are a couple different methods that you can use to take your Horehound, and I'm going to break it down for you right here, right now, so you know the best way to take it. So you can take Horehound in several different ways. The first one is as a warm infusion. For the warm infusion, that's going to provide the diaphoretic effects, like for sweating out a fever that you're looking for. And to make a warm infusion, you're going to do 1 to 2 teaspoons of the herb per cup of water. And then for a cold infusion, which is going to be best for the bitter properties for digestive complaints, that is going to be also 1 to 2 teaspoons of the herb per cup of water, but you're going to do a cold infusion that way. If you don't know how to make a warm or cold infusion, I'll probably make a video on it eventually, but I'm sure that you can find tutorials for it on YouTube. It's pretty simple. Cold infusions are best alone, and warm infusions can be combined with other herbs as well, like we talked about earlier for sweating out a fever, how you can make a warm infusion combined with Horehound and yarrow, ginger, elder, things like that. Okay, so for respiratory conditions, a syrup or a tincture are going to be your best ways to take it. Okay, so I hope that you guys learned a lot about Horehound Marubium vulgare. That is so fun to say. From this video. If you liked it, then please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment on how you are going to start incorporating Horehound into your plant medicine apothecary. And as always, please use research, your instincts, your intelligence, and talk to a health professional before taking Horehound. Please subscribe to my channel if you're interested in motherhood inspired by nature type of videos, and I would love to see you around. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. Have a good one. Bye.